From being found roaming the streets of LA naked to calling the cops on herself, here are the insane reasons why Amanda Bynes was placed on psychiatric hold.
Child stars are a vulnerable group, with their stories often not ending well, and today we'll be discussing a case of this from the modern era. Born in 1986, Amanda Bynes' acting career began at the age of 7, when she was spotted by a Nickelodeon producer while performing at a comedy camp. Afterwards, this producer encouraged her parents to let the young actress audition for their channel, which eventually led to Amanda landing a role on All That, a sketch show with an all-child cast. She quickly became a breakout star amongst the ensemble, winning her first Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Television Actress in 2000. Off the back of her success, she received her own spin-off series, The Amanda Show, which ran for 3 years and helped turn the young actress into an icon of the Nickelodeon brand. Throughout the 2000s, she appeared in popular films such as Big Fat Liar, She's the Man, Easy A, and Hairspray. It seemed that Amanda might have been heading to become Hollywood royalty, but her promising career was just about to start crumbling. The world first got a glimpse at the dark side of this child star on April 6, 2012, when at the age of 26, Amanda was arrested on a misdemeanor DUI charge after a collision in West Hollywood. Just 4 days later, she was accused of another hit-and-run accident in San Fernando Valley. On May 5th, she was accused of a third hit-and-run in LA, although she claimed to have not been aware that she had collided with her accuser's vehicle. At this point, Amanda Bynes was a well-known name among the LAPD, and she was officially charged with a DUI in early June following this latest arrest. In the wake of this, she bizarrely chose to tweet at Barack Obama to ask for help, although she obviously received no response from the then president. In early August, Amanda was accused of yet another vehicular collision by a woman named Kissa, who claimed that Bynes had driven away from the scene of their accident after being asked to exchange insurance information. By September 5th, it was reported that Amanda had been charged with 2 counts of hit and run for the April and August incidents. Just like the celebrity's car, her public image had taken quite a few hits, and many began to mock the actress's apparent downfall. Strangely, one prominent voice among her detractors was Lindsay Lohan, another child star who had gone through her own highly publicized spiral. Lindsay tweeted, "Why did I get put in jail and a Nickelodeon star had no punishment so far?" ahead of Amanda's court date for her charges. They were eventually dismissed after the actress entered a civil settlement with the other drivers, but there were still repercussions. In late September, TMZ reported that Amanda's agent, publicist, and entertainment lawyer had all dropped her as a client. Her once promising career seemed to have stopped in its tracks. And with that, we would start to witness one of the worst downfalls of a child star in Hollywood history. As a result of her legal troubles and professional isolation, Amanda withdrew from the Hollywood mainstream, but remained an increasingly popular figure among the tabloids, who were happy to exploit her erratic behavior at every turn. Most of this emerged through her Twitter account, including an infamous tweet about how she wanted Drake to, quote, "murder her." Many began to question the actress's mental stability, and across 2013 it was only questioned more. On May 24th, Amanda was arrested after allegedly throwing a bong out the window of her New York apartment. The police had been called to her building after her superintendent complained about her smoking in the lobby, and she faced charges of tampering with evidence, reckless endangerment, and marijuana possession. She was taken to a mental hospital for the night, but released the next day. Once she was free, Amanda accused the officer who had arrested her of sexual harassment, claiming that he had, quote, slapped her during the arrest. She was adamant that the charges against her were false, and ranted on Twitter about her plans to sue the NYPD and her apartment complex since she had no drugs in her possession, and no proof of any had been found. The NYPD denied her allegations against the officer, saying that there had been no inappropriate action taken against the former actress during the arrest. Only a few days later, the case against Amanda started to show some cracks. The police report of her arrest contained no mention of any drugs recovered at the scene, and even the bong that was allegedly thrown was only believed to be one by the officers who had been at the apartment. Amanda had confessed to throwing a vase, but since no physical evidence of the thrown object was discovered, there was no hard evidence against her aside from the reported strong odor of marijuana. The charges against her slowly faded, but Amanda did not. In a strange career detour, Bynes began to express a desire to start creating hip-hop music, which was met with confusion from both her fans and detractors. In late June, rapper Waka Flocka Flame spoke to TMZ and claimed that he would be producing an album for her titled Shots, although this never came to pass. A month later, Amanda made headlines again when she was kicked out of a Ritz-Carlton in New York City after allegedly smoking weed in her room and treating the hotel staff poorly. It was later reported that she had run up a room service bill of over $2,000 over the course of her stay. But just a few days later, Amanda's odd behavior reached a point that would change the course of her life forever.
Dan, what's on fire?
It's like a small piece of cloth and a gasoline tank, which is why I'm calling 911.
On July 23rd, Amanda was hospitalized on a 72-hour psychiatric hold after starting a small fire in the driveway of an elderly woman's house. Around the same time, Amanda was seen in a nearby liquor store trying to wash gasoline out of her pet Pomeranian's fur. She left the store after being confronted by a cashier and was later found by police officers and detained. Amanda ended up not being charged for the fire, as her conduct was determined to be rooted in mental illness and not criminal intent. As a result of this incident, the former actress's parents filed a temporary conservatorship, which would give them the ability to control her personal finances and well-being. Amanda's hospitalization was extended for 2 more weeks as she underwent treatment, while the damage from the fire she caused was paid for by East Coast record producer Daniel Herman, who had been following her journey into rap music and claimed that he wanted to sign her to his label. This also never came to pass. In early August, Amanda's psychiatric hold was extended for another 30 days, after she was deemed not well enough to attend a hearing regarding her release. On the same day, the temporary conservatorship was granted to her parents. Although still hospitalized, she was briefly reunited with her dog, which reportedly helped to lift her spirits. A week later, she was transferred to the UCLA Medical Center to continue her treatment, where an even longer-term hold was approved. There was little news about Amanda for the next month. In late September, it was reported that she had been deemed mentally unfit to stand trial in her DUI case. There was talk of her psychiatric hold being extended even further, and while her mother was not seeking a permanent conservatorship, she was still in control of Amanda's medical decisions. This location proved to be better suited to Amanda's recovery needs, and she was released from the facility into her mother's care in December. She was also deemed mentally fit to stand trial at this point. In an attempt to bounce back after her stint in rehab, Bynes enrolled in the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, which would prove to be a longer-lasting career pivot than rap music had been. 2014 started off better for Amanda. In January, the charges from her bong-throwing incident were officially dismissed, and she pleaded no contest to a lesser offense in her DUI case the next month, which resulted in her being placed on 3 years probation. Her schooling was also reportedly helping her adjust back to her old self, and in April, her mom took her off her medication, claiming that her daughter's problems had all stemmed from marijuana and that Amanda had no mental illness whatsoever. In June, the charges in the bong case were officially dropped, seemingly clearing her legal slate and giving her a fresh start. But on September 29th, Amanda was once again arrested for driving under the influence. This time, the substance was determined to be Adderall. At this point, the temporary conservatorship had ended, and she had moved out of her mother and father's house. Her parents reportedly knew nothing about their daughter's whereabouts, and had learned about the arrest themselves from the media. Although she was released from police custody, Amanda's spiral only continued from there. On the first day of October, the public learned that she had been kicked out of FIDM, with several students relaying stories about how she would show up to class high and try to pay her classmates to do her homework. 2 days later, Amanda flew to New York City, where another series of misadventures unfolded. On October 8th, Amanda had a very strange 24 hours. First, she allegedly attacked a fan in a nightclub, scratching her arms and neck. Later, she was accused of shoplifting from Bynes on Madison Avenue after security guards caught her trying to walk out of the store wearing a $200 hat. The former actress defended herself by claiming that she had simply left her purse in her car and had been distracted by a fan who was trying to take pictures of her. But 2 hours before this incident, she had apparently also been caught trying to steal a shirt by employees at Pookie and Sebastian. Amanda left New York shortly after this, but remained in the public eye when she began lashing out at her parents, claiming that her father had been verbally and physically abusive to her throughout her childhood. Her siblings quickly jumped to his defense, denying Amanda's allegations and saying that they were a result of their sister not seeking proper help. Her father also denied the accusations against him, and Amanda later retracted them, blaming the quote, microchip in her brain. After this long period of instability, few were surprised when Amanda was placed back under an involuntary psychiatric hold upon arriving in LA. From there, her parents regained conservatorship, claiming that Amanda had been wasting alarming amounts of money on expensive gifts that she would hand out to complete strangers. 2 weeks later, Amanda was released from the psychiatric facility and proceeded to go on another Twitter rant where she doubled down on the accusations of assault against her father and announced her plans to fight the conservatorship in court. However, this litigation did not end the way she expected. Under the terms of Amanda's conservatorship, she was deemed to lack the mental capacity to enter into a binding contract, so the judge ruled that the lawyer she had hired could not represent her. The hearing was over before it began, and Amanda was left under her parents' control, growing increasingly unstable. Over the next month, Amanda's dire situation continued to get worse. The former actress tweeted that she had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and manic depression, and that she had been living off a $50 per day stipend from her parents, but later deleted both posts. The relationship between Amanda and her family was tense. She was no longer living with them, and was allegedly crashing with whoever would take her in. This living arrangement proved to be volatile as well, and reports emerged in mid-November that a group of Amanda's temporary roommates were seeking money to repair the damage she had caused from burning cigarette holes in the carpets and spilling hair dye around their apartment. Soon afterwards, audio recordings of Amanda leaked to the public, including a tirade against her parents where she expressed an urge to kill them.
If your father was my father, exactly, then you would understand why you'd want to slit his wrists, and quite frankly...
The former actress quickly released a statement that she had only been joking, and that she had been working on her family issues in therapy. Joke or not, it was clear that things had never been more strained between them. But soon, Amanda's life started to take a turn for the better. She began to express an interest in returning to school, this time at the University of Southern California's Psychology Department. She was also featured much less frequently in tabloid headlines, and seemed to be keeping a lower profile. By the end of the year, most of the coverage she received was positive, as she had apparently reached a much more stable and lucid mental state. 2015 started on a much higher note for Amanda, when the LA City Attorney decided not to prosecute her for her September 2014 DUI. Although there was a possibility that she could still face jail time, that never came to be, likely because it would have interfered with her mental health treatment. She was, however, placed on probation. Meanwhile, her treatment continued very effectively, and Amanda eventually reached the point where she could live on her own again. She also re-enrolled in FIDM, intending to finish the degree that she had abandoned in the middle of her breakdown. Over the next couple years, Amanda kept an even lower public profile. In March of 2016, she announced that she had not been invited to a planned All That reunion special, despite her prominent role in the show's history. Still, her focus had turned away from acting by this point, and she was maintaining that focus. In 2017, her probation for her DUI case ended, and she seemed to be ready to move on from that volatile point in her life. In June, she gave her first public interview in 4 years, where she finally explained the infamous Drake tweet, saying that she had not been serious about the request, but that drugs had been the main factor behind the message. The following year, Amanda took a bigger step into the public eye again, when she was featured on the cover of Paper magazine. In the accompanying profile, the former actress opened up about her history of drug abuse and explained how her sobriety had been the main factor in turning her life around. Her addiction had apparently emerged alongside severe self-image issues, which sometimes led to long periods of depression after Amanda watched the film she starred in and felt disconnected from the image of herself on the screen. She also detailed how her relationship with the media had changed in the years since her very public breakdown, as the culture of the internet had become much more accepting of mental health by this time. Amanda felt that she had been through the worst at this point in her life, and was excited for what the future might bring, especially since she planned to return to auditioning for acting roles. In March of 2019, Amanda appeared back in the tabloids when she checked herself into the Los Angeles rehab facility after suffering a relapse. Some speculated that it could have been caused by Amanda's return to Hollywood overwhelming her, or just a common misstep on the difficult road to sobriety. But this time, Amanda was able to recover without such extensive media coverage, and announced that she had graduated from her fashion program in June of the same year. Early on in 2020, Amanda revealed that she was engaged to a man named Paul Michael, who she apparently met in Alcoholics Anonymous. There were concerns that the marriage might be blocked by her conservatorship, as her parents reportedly didn't approve of the match, but there was never any formal intervention from them. 3 weeks later, Paul stated that the couple had called off their engagement, although this would not be the end of their relationship. In a strange turn of events, Amanda announced soon after the breakup that she was pregnant, uploading a picture of a seemingly official ultrasound. The post was deleted soon afterwards, and Amanda's lawyer later released a statement that the claim was false. The motivation behind this remains a mystery. By late 2021, celebrity conservatorships had been a big public talking point in the midst of the hashtag Free Britney movement, which eventually succeeded in its goal of ending Britney Spears' father's 13-year-long hold on her life. Once the pop star was free, the movement turned its attention to Bynes, who was in a very similar situation and had seemingly grown beyond the need for it. Amanda agreed and eventually filed to end her conservatorship in February 2022. She received a huge wave of support and goodwill from the internet in the lead up to the court date, which was a far cry from the reactions she used to receive online. She also found a new apartment, which she planned to move into after the conservatorship ended. Paul would also be moving in, as the two of them had recently gone back together and set their engagement back on track. On March 21st, a judge ruled to give Amanda back control over her life for the first time in 9 years. In the wake of this victory, she stated that she would be staying out of the interview circuit, despite receiving many requests from everyone from the New York Times to Logan Paul. For the foreseeable future, Amanda's only goal was to enjoy the freedom of a normal life, and to spend time with her fiancé. Unfortunately, things did not unfold as smoothly as she likely hoped. The following month, Amanda posted a video to her Instagram page where she detailed an altercation between herself and Paul.
He vandalized his mom's home. He broke all of her pictures and put salmon under her bed. His behavior is alarming, and I'm afraid of what he'll do. I forgot to mention, I found Paul's stash of crack cocaine.
Amanda expressed concerns over Paul's recent erratic behavior and claimed that she had kicked him out of her apartment, although they appeared to have reconciled by the next day. Soon afterwards, Amanda posted another video saying that Paul had come clean on a drug test and later clarified that he had been sober for 2 weeks before their confrontation. But her fear of his relapse had provoked a bigger argument than she had expected. Amanda and Paul's relationship continued in an on-again, off-again fashion, with reports of them breaking up and getting back together emerging on an almost monthly basis over the summer of 2022. By October, they were back together again, although seemingly no longer engaged. In January 2023, it was announced that Amanda would be appearing in another reunion of the All That cast at the annual 90s Con celebration. This was to be her first major public appearance since the end of her conservatorship, But on March 17th, news broke that she would no longer be able to attend the convention. And a few days later, the explanation for her absence reached the public. On the 20th, it was reported that Amanda had been taken into psychiatric care after she had been found roaming the streets of downtown LA naked. And she was placed under another psychiatric hold after she was discovered and taken to a nearby police station. The hold was extended twice, as Amanda recovered from this episode, and she was eventually released on April 11th to begin outpatient treatment. According to TMZ, this breakdown was fueled by yet another breakup with Paul, who told the tabloid that their relationship seemed to have reached a final end. It's unclear what the future holds for Amanda Bynes. The road to recovery from addiction is never an easy one, and it's made all the more difficult when every slip is published so widely across the internet. And this is all the more tragic considering the talent she displayed in adolescence.
Well, that's all the advice I have for you today. Bye-bye, everybody.
Like so many child stars before her, Amanda finds herself in a spiral of tabloid sensationalism. And unless she makes some permanent changes in her life, that won't change anytime soon. And with that, I think I'll end the video here. So until next time, thanks for watching.